In the last video, I told you that Lucia, as a full co-lead, was going to double Rockstar's development costs. Double the mocap, double the voice work, double the writing. Damn, I sounded like an ad for Double Mint Gum. But I was wrong. And the reason why involves a patent I almost skipped over and a random French company that Take Two quietly bought 4 years ago that most GTA coverage has never even mentioned. So stick around. By the end of this video, know exactly where Rockstar found their shortcut and more importantly, where they didn't. So this is a 10-second recap for anyone new here. Anybody who's watched the previous video on this can go to the kitchen and grab a Krispy Kreme and jump back when you're ready. Two protagonists usually means two full production pipelines. Mocap, voiceover, animation, all running in parallel because you can't reuse one character's assets on another's body. That's what I said last time. And that's based on my own experience on games like Gears of War and Lawbreakers. And that's still mostly true. But something didn't sit quite right with me after I published that video. You know, kind of like how you feel after gas station sushi at 2 a.m. For a studio like Rockstar, with all the money they have and a timeline they've already blown past twice, I know they weren't going to eat this cost without a fight. So I went digging, and I might have found what they did about it. There's a patent called System Method for Runtime Retargeting. I mentioned this in another video, and you're probably saying, boring. But hey, here's a little bit of excitement for you. Think of it like Mystique from the X-Men. Instead of hiring a completely new actor every time she needs to look like someone else, she's got one system that morphs on the fly. So what do you think about the new Mystique in Avengers Doomsday? I'm wondering about that one. That's runtime retargeting. It's one animation library that reshapes itself instead of building a brand new one from scratch. And here's why that matters. Take an animation built for a hunky lead male. Let's just say Jason. Then try to reuse that same animation on a slim female frame, say Lucia, and you'll get clipping. Limbs will be poking through the clothes. An animation rig will be poking through skin. Hands will be landing in the wrong spot when two characters touch. The patent literally calls this the mismatched context problem. And it's expensive in any game where two differently built characters interact physically. And if you watch the GTA 6 trailers, this could be problematic because most of the scenes, Jason and Lucia are touching. Now, I want to be straight up with you. This patent never says Lucia, and it never says anything about GTA 6. It's a general animation system patent filed by Take Two. So this next part is a guess on my part, and it's not a fact. My gut says the system was built specifically with Jason and Lucia in mind. Maybe my gut just has gas, but we'll find out. If this is what I think it is, Rockstar didn't brute force double the animation work like I claimed last time. They engineered a smarter system instead, one that has one animation library retargeted on the fly across two differently sized leads. One quick thing before I skedaddle onward. If you got a take on whether that patent is actually Jason or Lucia, I'm all ears. Just drop it in the comments. I read all of them, and a couple of you have caught things I've missed. While I'm cleaning things up in aisle 6, let me fix one more thing I got wrong. Last time I said that Lucia was basically the first playable woman in GTA history. That's not accurate. The original Grand Theft Auto from 1997 had four playable female characters: Divine, Katie, Mickey, and Eureka. If you don't think the graphics have progressed substantially in the last few years, take a look at these images from nearly 30 years ago. Whoo boy. And of course, this is overlooked. You can also play as a woman in GTA Online right now. What's actually true about all of this is that Lucia is the first fully voiced female lead you're probably required to play. And it's not just an optional skin on your own custom character. That distinction seems a little bit small, but it's the entire reason that this animation question exists in the first place. An optional character doesn't need custom animation work built around another lead. A mandatory co-lead does. Someone who's in every scene, every car, and every heist and physically acting with another lead. That's the expensive part. That's where the mounds of Rockstar cash goes. Let me show you what happens when a studio doesn't find a shortcut, because two other studios took the expensive road and paid handsomely for it. In Cyberpunk 2077, the main character V is fully voiced as either a man or a woman. They're two completely different performances by Sheremy Lay and Gavin Dre, recorded separately on purpose so that neither performance would actually affect the others. That's two full voiceover pipelines and two sets of retakes, two sets of rewrites, two mocap shoots, and two facial capture passes, just for one narrative slot in the story. And by design, most players will only play one of these players ever when they're playing the game. Assassin's Creed Odyssey did the exact same thing with Cassandra and Alexios. There were two separate performance actors and two completely different characters for one role. That's just not efficient. That's basically throwing money into a furnace. It's like the Justice League Snyder cut versus the theatrical cut. They are two entirely separate versions of the same footage, but doubling post production costs for basically one release. Those are brute force solutions. CD Projekt Red and Ubisoft went in whole hog and ate the cost. But Rockstar just didn't build an either or option like those two games did. They built two mandatory leads who are basically in every scene at the same time. In the last video, I said this doesn't scale. But if this patent does what I think it does, Rockstar engineered their way out of the single most expensive part of that equation. And that's not cheap, but it's really smart. It's smart about where to exactly spend those shark card bucks and where not to. And here's another wrinkle in the ointment, and it's the whole reason I teased that French company at the start of this video. Runtime retargeting saves on animation, and that's a bankable cost, but it saves nothing on writing, nothing on voice acting, and the big bupkis on facial capture. But facial capture is one of the big enchiladas. That's where the character stops looking like a bunch of polygons stitched together, reading some lines, and starts feeling like an actual person. And that's the part that makes you care about Lucia. And here's the biggest piece of this puzzle most GTA 6 coverage has completely missed. Back in July 2021, Take Two bought a French company called Dynamixyz. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but we'll just call it Dynamixyz. They specialize in markerless facial capture. And I'm not talking like markers like Sharpies. I'm talking about their technology allows the actors to have no strange dots glued to an actor's face and no rig strapped to their head. They just have the cameras to read the actor's performance. But Rockstar just didn't go out and just rent that pipeline. They didn't license a tool for one of their projects and call it a day. They bought the entire freaking company. And I want to explain why that decision is a much bigger deal than it actually sounds like, because I used to deal with this whole situation when working with internal Epic teams for mocap production. When you license mocap tech on a per project basis, you're hiring a remote company to do the work. You pay for a window of time and you're on someone else's schedule until they can squeeze you in between other games, blockbuster movies, and commercials. If your production goes over and GTA 6's production has run long twice, you go back to the table and renegotiate to get into the studio from a really weak position. And also, you pay extra bucks because they know you're in mid production. You can't possibly switch mocap houses on a moment's notice. Buying the company actually kills all of that nonsense. There's no being at the mercy of the mocap house's schedule. You're the number one client on the schedule since you're the only client. If your animators need the mocap capture tool to do something it doesn't do yet, you don't file a feature request and hope that the studio picks it up and runs with it. You walk down the hall or just send a text. On a video game that's been running for over a decade, owning the tech is just cheaper and safer. And the markerless part matters more than people think. Dots on someone's face or helmet rig change how an actor performs. Take those limitations away, and you get closer to an actual performance that an actor will actually make you believe about the character, which is super important when your game rests on whether you believe two people actually trust or are in love with each other. So when Take Two bought Dynamixyz, they weren't buying their software. They were buying the thing that helps make Lucia read as a real person. Players in the post-mortem discussions don't remember the polygon counts of the lead actors. They remember the face and they remember the voice. So did Rockstar find a shortcut? Kind of, but not the kind that saves them a dime on the part you'll actually feel when you're playing as Lucia. I was partly wrong in the last video, and I'd rather bare my soul here in one video than argue about it 40 times in the comments. That's how I want to run this channel. If I miss something, I'll own it and I'll show you where I screwed up. Speaking of which, the video I'm correcting is the Jason breakdown where you can see Jason on the right, and then you see all the rest of the GTA series protagonists on the left. And this is where I laid out the whole dual lead production argument in the first place. Watching that first one makes this video make a whole lot more sense, and you can check it out in the upper right corner of this video. And if you want the version of a GTA 6 YouTube channel where the host, I guess I'm the host, fixes his own mistakes on camera instead of quietly deleting the video, then that's what subscribing to this channel gets you. And I'll be releasing new videos between now and the release of GTA 6 in November. I still feel dirty asking for you to subscribe, but at least now you know what kind of fun you're getting into. Down in the comments, tell me this. When you play a game with two leads, what actually makes one of them feel real to you? Is it the face? Is it the writing? Or is it the way they move? I want to know because that's exactly what these game studios are spending millions trying to get right. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.